I love Alex, and we are friends. And I've just been in the privileged position of happening to bump into him sort of early on, I suppose, in his rise, when he was still sort of, I think, probably 16 years old, teenager in his bedroom, you know, firing off these quite Hitchens-esque videos on Christianity, Islam, and so on. And he's gone, as you say, through this extraordinary evolution, actually, where he's really actually genuinely opened himself up to the arguments of Christianity. He's lived with Christians, a university. He went and did a philosophy and theology degree. And in so many ways, I think you've seen his own sort of broadening into a far more nuanced understanding of the arguments for and against God. He had the humility to create videos critiquing videos from a few years previous, saying, I just didn't understand that argument, or whatever it may be. At the same time, he's been very clear that as much as he's sort of got a much more kind of an openness and friendliness, as it were, towards Christians and Christianity, he's not a Christian. He is still an atheist. Though I don't know, I don't hear him using the word atheist so much these days. In fact, I think he's probably far more likely to describe as an agnostic these days. But yeah, and the future, who knows? I know, I'm sure there are lots of people praying for Alex, would love to see him sort of, have his own conversion moment. And who knows, it may happen. That when I've asked him about it, he said, well, I guess God knows what it would take for me to become a Christian. It hasn't happened at this point. And I think to some extent, Alex conceives of himself as being perfectly open. He's kind of, I think he says if there is a sort of a non-resistant, open type, I think I'm it. But in the end, it's very hard. I can't be the judge of that. I don't think even Alex necessarily can be the judge of that, because our own hearts are often not obvious to us. Only God, I think, in the end knows the human heart. But interestingly, again, as I said to some of those other characters earlier, I do see Alex, even as an atheist YouTuber, actually opening up the God question in all kinds of interesting ways. And I'd much rather have him doing what he's doing than not have him there, if you know what I mean. Because I think actually his work engages so many interesting, both atheists and Christians now. I think he's part of this surprising rebirth movement, even though he's not saying he's a Christian. He's still opening up the God question for a lot of people through his phenomenally popular YouTube channel. I don't agree, obviously, with everything he says. I don't agree with all the guests he has on by any stretch, but I really appreciate the fact he does sort of try to play fair and feature guests, now from a wide variety of Christian and non-Christian places. So I'm a fan, basically, and yeah, we'll see what happens in the future.